Hello all and welcome to TVM Academy. This is CAT VARC 100 series, RC number 9. The link to this RC as usual was shared on our Telegram group. It has also been sent to your registered email IDs. If you have not signed up for this course yet, please do so on our website. The link is there in the description of this video. Thank you. So this was a nice read, a philosophical passage. A quick synopsis of the passage first. In the first paragraph, author tells you that legal systems are based on an assumption that there is one neutral, objective description of truth. In the second paragraph, he rejects this assumption and he says there is no such thing as neutral truth. Everybody has his or her own interpretation of truth. Perceptions are subjective. He also points out a flaw in the legal systems. He says that legal systems favor those who are well versed in legal language because they can present their description of truth as objective. They are fluent in legal language. In the third paragraph, he introduces some legal scholars who want to remedy this situation and who want a wider audience to get justice in the legal systems. Therefore, these legal scholars propose that an alternative form of discourse also be included, or probably should replace the so-called objective descriptions. A personal emotional narrative should find some place in legal language so that people who are not fluent in legal language also get to voice their version of the truth. So that's the overall passage. Now please understand, author of this passage has not supported the legal scholars' argument. Some legal scholars have argued that personal emotional narratives find some place in legal discourse. Author does not say whether it should or it should not. But yes, author has pointed out a flaw in the existing objectivist legal system, that by pointing out that objectivism actually does not exist. There is no one neutral objective description of truth. So there is some bias that we can see on part of the author. Okay. To the questions now. Which of the following would be the closest to objectivism as it has been defined in the passage? Now, what is objectivism? First paragraph defines objectivism for us. Objectivism holds that there is a single neutral description of each event which is unskewed by any particular point of view, and it has a privileged position over all others. So basically, objectivism holds that there is one neutral description which is unbiased and unskewed by personal point of view. Okay. Option 1, an editorial written in a newspaper column. Editorial is mostly biased. Editorial is a personal point of view, and objectivism holds that there is one neutral truth which is not influenced by particular point of view or personal point of view. Editorial is a personal point of view. A travel blog describing a surreal place. Now, please understand, the use of the adjective surreal becomes, tells us that this description, this travel blog is going to be subjective in nature, because whether or not you find a place surreal is going to vary from individual to individual. Therefore, travel blog describing a surreal place is likely to be subjective, not objective. A historian's account of events that may have led to the Russian Revolution. Tempting choice. This was a nice choice and a trap. But there's something important in this answer choice. A historian's account. A historian's account. It's not, the historical account, commonly accepted historical account. No, that every historian has accepted. It is a historian's account of events that may have led to the Russian Revolution. This may suggest that historian is going to give his interpretation of the events that may have led to the Russian Revolution. Therefore, this is also going to be biased and subjective in nature rather than objective. It's going to be his personal point of view, right? a biography of a famous painter. Now, what is a biography? A narrative of events that happened in this famous painter's life. That is what biography means. So at this age, maybe he started painting with these colors, blah, blah, blah. At this age, he became popular. At this age, he invented a new, kind of painting. So a biography is most likely, from the given options, it is most likely going to be objectivist in nature, as the word objectivism has been described in the passage. Question number 2. Which of the following best states the main idea of the passage? Okay. Option A, some legal scholars have sought to empower people. This part is correct. Historically excluded from traditional legal discourse, correct, by instructing them in the forms of discourse. Wait, these legal scholars in the last paragraph have not started teaching them. They have only proposed that a personal emotional narrative should find some place in the legal discourse. That's all. They have not started teaching. So this is alien. Some legal scholars have argued that the basic flaw inherent in objectivist theory can be remedied, okay, by recognizing that it is not possible to obtain a single neutral description of a particular event. Now, this is a tempting choice and a close one. But can have these legal scholars only argued that a mere recognition of the fact that there's no objective truth, a mere recognition of that fact is going to remedy the situation? No. They have proposed that emotional, personal narrative should also find place in legal discourse. So mere recognition is not going to lead to remedy of the situation. So this is an understatement, incomplete. Some legal scholars have proposed alleviating the harm caused by the prominence of objectivist principles. Okay. They have proposed reducing the harm caused by objectivist principles within the legal discourse by replacing that discourse with alternative forms of legal narrative, where alternative could mean emotional and personal form of narrative, which is written right here in the last paragraph. They want to replace abstract discourse with powerful personal stories. So yes, that's exactly what the passage is all about. Some legal scholars have contended that those who feel excluded from objectivist legal systems would be empowered by the construction of a new legal language that better reflected objectivist principles. Wait, this is contradictory. These people propose that we have to get rid of objectivist principles or objectivist underlying objectivist tenets of legal systems, rather than create a new system, new language that better reflected objectivist principles. This is contradictory. Option C is the correct answer. Question number 3. Which of the following is true about the intellectual systems mentioned in the passage? Now, please note about intellectual systems what was mentioned. Here, objectivism is a philosophical approach that has supported most Western legal and intellectual systems for centuries. So many intellectual systems have been influenced by objectivism. They are based on objectivism. Okay. Option A, they are inherently flawed. Intellectual systems are inherently flawed because of the inaccuracy of the underlying tenet. Underlying tenet is objectivism. Their underlying philosophy is objectivism, as the passage says, and they're inherently flawed because objectivism is flawed. Exactly what the passage proposes when it says there is a serious flaw in objectivism, and therefore the intellectual systems which are based on objectivism are also flawed by extension. So option A should be the correct answer. These intellectual systems have generally remained unskewed by particular points of view, alien idea. How can they remain unskewed when objectivism does not exist? Their discursive practices have yet to be analyzed by legal scholars, alien idea. Author has not told us anything about the level of analysis that has already gone into these intellectual systems. Okay. They have shaped the philosophy of objectivism in legal discourse. Now, wait, intellectual systems have not shaped the philosophy of objectivism. Objectivism has shaped intellectual systems. So the relationship has been reversed here. Converse is true. So option D, though tempting, is out. Correct answer A. Which of the following best describes the sense of cognition referred to in the passage? Now, cognition was mentioned in the last paragraph. And the passage says, objectivist legal discourse systematically disallows the language of emotion and experience by focusing on cognition in its narrowest sense, which means cognition, as described in the passage, should include the language of emotion and experience. They have, according to the, now this is a question, this is a beautiful, beautiful question, okay? Objectivist legal discourse systematically disallows the language of emotion and experience by focusing on cognition in its narrowest sense. And the question says, which of the following best describes the sense of cognition referred to in the passage? Which means it should not include, it should disallow emotion and experience. Option A. The interpretation of visual cues not related to what we want. Dispassionate logical thinking. Correct answer, option B. Dispassionate means what? Dispassionate means emotionless logical thinking. So emotionless logical thinking coheres with the sense of cognition mentioned or referred to in the passage. Correct answer, option B. Sudden insights inspired by the power of personal stories. If the stories are personal, they become emotional. And the word cognition, as described, as referred to in the passage, that sense of cognition has no place for emotions. The reasoning actually employed by judges too narrow to arrive at legal judgments. This is too narrow. Okay, that's not what cognition is all about. Question number 5. It can be inferred from the passage that Williams, Bell, and Matsuda believe which one of the following to be the central component of legal reform. So if they want reform, all of them agree that something has to be the central component. Okay. These people have sought empowerment for the latter group of people. Latter group, which group? Okay. Those who are not fluent in the language of the law. This is the latter group of people. And these people want to empower the latter group of people, okay, through the construction of alternative legal narratives. That's what they want. Objectivist legal discourse systematically disallows the language of emotion and experience by focusing on cognition in its narrowest sense. These legal reformers propose replacing such abstract discourse with powerful personal stories. They argue that the absorbing and non-threatening structure and tone of personal stories may convince legal insiders for the first time to listen to those who are not fluent in legal language. So they want to empower this second group of people who are not well versed in the legal language. They're not fluent in legal language. They're not officials or trained in that. Okay. And these people are traditionally excluded from legal discourse because they're not fluent in legal language. They want to empower them. So option A. Incorporating into the law the latest developments in the fields of psychology and philosophy, alien idea. Eradicating from legal judgments, discourse with a particular point of view, not to mention again alien idea. Granting all participants in legal proceedings equal access to training. In fact, these people propose there's no training required. Make room for untrained people as well. Make room for emotional description of events. Make room for emotional discourse. So there's no training required at all. So this is kind of contradictory to what these people want. Making the law more responsive to the discursive practices of a wider variety of people, the people who are excluded from legal discourse right now. So these people should also be included. So wider variety of people should be included. That's exactly what the passage says. Not only people who are well versed in legal language, but common people also who do not know the legal language, they should also be able to express or convey their version of the truth through emotional personal stories. Those who reject objectivism would regard the law's quest for truth as most similar to which one of the following? Okay. Those who reject objectivism, they say that objectivism does not exist. There is no neutral description of law. It does not exist. Objectivism does not exist. There's no objective description of it. So if law is trying to find out something that does not exist, we are supposed to now find out reasoning which is most similar, or situation which is most similar to this one. The painstaking assembly of a jigsaw puzzle. Well, puzzle can still be arranged. So it is not non-existent. Puzzle or the answer to a puzzle or systematic assembly of a puzzle is possible. So it's not non-existent. Out. The search for a valuable diamond among trinkets. Option B does not tell us that this diamond does not exist. It is non-existent. It might be existent. Hunt for a legendary animal. Now, what is a legendary animal? It exists only in stories. Legends are stories. So a legendary animal such as a dinosaur. So if you're hunting for not a dinosaur, actually there are fossil evidences now that this species actually existed, but some other animal that exists only in legends, stories. So basically this is non-existent and you're hunting for it. That's exactly similar to law's quest for objectivism. Objectivism does not exist. Law is trying to search for it, hunt for it. Option C should be the correct answer. Comparing an apple with, there's no comparison involved at all. So alien. Nice passage, philosophical passage. I hope you enjoyed, guys. Keep liking, keep sharing, spread the word about VRC 100 and TVM Academy. Make our time worth our while. Thank you very much. All this effort is for you. Cheers to learning. Happy practicing.